East African Community Council of Ministers finally adopted the community's 2020-2021 budget, estimates of about 97.6 million US dollars that will cater for 3 EAC organs and institutions' recurrent and development expenditure for the current financial year. We had a conversation with economic analyst Odhiambo Ramogi for more on this.
EAC has the Council of Ministers has approved a budget of around 97 billion US dollars, million US dollars, which translates to about 10 billion Kenya shillings. I think that's why I'm referring to it in the billions. Of this, about 55%, 55 million US dollars is supposed to come from the member countries as contributions. The other 41 or so is supposed to come from development partners. This money is supposed to be used for the departments or the secretariat and other institutions as part of development and recurrent expenditure for the financial year 2020-2021, which began on 1st of July 2020 and goes all the way to 30th of June 2021.
Yes, we've seen also the committee has put forward some 7 key focal areas that they will be focusing on in this period, in this one-year period. What are some of those 7 key focal areas, and what impact do you think that they will really have, comparing we only have 1 year to implement them?
The 7 are consolidation of the single customs territory, infrastructure development, enhancement of free movement of all factors of production, enhancement of regional industrial development, improvement of agricultural productivity, promotion of regional peace, security, and good governance, and institutional transformation at the regional or partner state levels. If you ask me, you know, most of development agencies and unions, regional integration unions like ours, the UN, make the same mistakes all over, and which is to have a very long list of things they want to do, merely to ensure inclusivity and to make sure that everyone is happy. But at the end of the day, very little gets achieved because focus becomes mad. I would be happier if they had 2 or 3 items and they focused on these. They put their energy on it, they put their money on it, they made awareness about it, they made noise about it. I think there would be more results at the end of it as opposed to a whole list of 7 items. Because if you look at this, I think the major issue here is trade, just enhancing trade in the region and ensuring that there's free movement of all factors of production and etc. Everything else is more in that regard. And the second thing is probably agriculture, and the third thing is infrastructure. And so there's really, the others are just lots of words, but at the end of the day, the 3 things are what I see as being key for them. And I'm not sure if they'll be able to achieve them with this lack of clarity.
Yes, now we've seen also one of the key areas that they've been touching on for some years now is the promotion of regional peace, security, and good governance. You know, this is something that they've been having back and forth about, but yet we're seeing tensions still rising here in the region. You know, how different should they be having this conversation?
Well, tensions will keep rising. I mean, as long as your neighbors, that is expected. There's tension, I think, even between the East African countries and the gentlemen down or down north, Egypt and Sudan, concerning the Nile Agreement of 1929 and what should be done around that to at least make sure that it meets the needs of the current realities. There's already a disagreement between Kenya and Tanzania, with Tanzania banning some airlines from entering from entering their market, airlines from Kenya. If you remember the Migingo Island crisis between Kenya and Uganda, that has never been solved. Somalia and Kenya and their borderlines is another story altogether. And so there are all these tensions, and they'll always be there. I think the major question for me would be, why are we not going into the political union? Because that is the only possible solution. Usually the steps or the stages in regional integration is the free market. You go to a common market, you go to an economic union, you go to a political union. We are a common market, and it doesn't seem to be working nicely. I think Kenyans, Ugandans, Rwandese, and Burundians, everybody here will be happy if we are just one country, and then I can travel to any country without much ado. Goods can travel as well, and there can be more focused development and ease of doing business around here. There will be less tribalism and less internal conflicts also. So for me, I think the real solution is to fast track the intention to be a political union.
Now we've seen, just bring us up to speed on the situation with South Sudan as well as Burundi. Were they able to disperse the funds that they owed the EAC bloc, knowing that the deadline is just 2 weeks away?
Reports are that Burundi had paid 2.6 million US dollars immediately after the elections in May. After that, no other report has come through that any of them have paid. And so, I mean, they still have time, yes, but you know, they were threatened with sanctions, and everybody knows they will not be sanctioned. You know, the sanctions are the last resort in the disciplinary framework. And usually before you are sanctioned, there must be real issues, very real issues, diplomatic issues that the community is facing. And so I do not foresee a possible sanction, especially at this time of crisis. They can come up with all sorts of excuses and reasons as to why they are not able to pay, especially someone like Burundi that have already shown some goodwill and paid something small. And so nothing has come through that way. It's possible they may pay within the next weeks. It's possible they, but I do not foresee the sanctions being implemented against them.